Hey guys, welcome back to Zimojo Homestead. We're so glad you are with us. And the chickens behind us. But yes, we have a rainy, wet, cold weekend that we are in. And it is Memorial Day weekend. Like, it is
no lake days planned here.
No.
It's freezing.
It is, yes. Our high was 50, I think like 58 degrees this weekend.
It's not okay.
I mean, it's warming up a little bit on Sunday, but yeah, it's...
I'm not okay.
No. So, we are not doing anything outside in the garden related, animal related, or anything.
Nope.
We are going to take you guys to the kitchen. We are doing what we're calling whipped cheese.
Yes.
And this is like a basic farmer's cheese. Super easy.
Yeah.
Like poor man cheese.
Yes. Or beginner cheese if you just want to play around with making cheese.
Yes, yes. But we kind of stumbled across this. So in this video, it does work.
Yeah.
But we are still trying to figure out and fine tune it. So there is, I mean, it's a how-to video, but there's also like a lot of, we're trying this out.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to use up excess milk.
Yeah.
If you guys are new to our channel, welcome. And we invite you guys to hit that subscribe button. Join our YouTube family, as we like to call you guys. We really do see you guys as family. That's what building community is all about. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes community isn't in your immediate local area. It is virtual. So, welcome to the community. Also, hit that like button, especially if you like these things, us going into the kitchen. I know it's a little bit different than what we normally do, but we do try to get some of these videos out there because it's homesteading.
That's part of
homesteading,
all. Yeah.
Exactly. It's using the resources that you have and maximizing it.
Yeah.
And even sometimes getting creative.
So today I'm going to make some whipped goat cheese. My kids really like cream cheese, and this kind of mimics that. And I don't have the starter or the culture. And so this is a way for me to make something that is similar that kind of fills that need. I'm actually going to make it raw. I've never made it raw before, but I really want to do more raw since we have the raw milk. I really don't want to pasteurize it. So I'm only going to heat it to 86 degrees. If you don't want your cheese raw, just heat it somewhere between 170, 180 degrees, and then you'll go from there. So I'm just going to do a quart of milk today, just because we are kind of experimenting. I did this by accident with another batch that I made, and so I'm trying to recreate that amazing accident that I made. Look at all that cream. I'm going to let it sit and come to room temperature a little bit, and that cream will slide down and I'll add it. So the one thing I like about kind of this farmer cheese that we've been making is how versatile it is. If I don't know what I'm going to use the cheese for, I don't have any plans for it, I just salt it and then put it in the fridge and let it sit. We've actually done a video on how to make this cheese in your Instant Pot, and it is super easy, and it's a necessity for any homesteader, but also anyone could do this. If you have an Instant Pot, you can go get a gallon of milk and make your own farm cheese at home. It kind of can replace your feta, or you can strain all the way out and press it and make it a slicing cheese. It will not melt, but it's just a great versatile cheese to have at home. The other thing that we've done with this cheese is we've infused it with herbs from our garden. That's kind of my favorite way to have it. I go out and I get all the Italian herbs and chop them up and put them in there, and it tastes amazing, especially on salad or on crackers. And I'm going to do that today with this spreading cheese. Another thing you could do was put in a little bit of like jelly or jam and make it a sweet one, or even fresh chopped fruit. The other thing we've done, Jeremy actually did this, and I was skeptical at first, but it ended up being really good, he infused it with lavender. He took some of our lavender from our tea garden and put it in there. And it was really subtle and very tasty. I definitely encourage you to try this out. Even, like I said, if you don't have a small home dairy, you can go get some milk from your local grocery store and do it with your kids. It's easy. And it's just a fun, versatile cheese to have on hand. Okay, so we are at temperature, and what I'm going to experiment with today is how much acid I put in this cheese. It is an acid-based cheese. That's how you get it to curdle and separate your curds from your whey. If you use a lot of vinegar, it becomes kind of a harder cheese, more like a dry feta, or something that you could, like I said before, put in a mold and slice. What I'm shooting for now is what happens when I use lemon juice, but I don't have lemon juice on hand. It becomes more like your Chev, or like I said, a consistency that could be whipped into a copycat cream cheese spread. So we're gonna play around with the ratio and see what we get. Typically for like a farm cheese, I would do a couple tablespoons of vinegar or lemon juice for a gallon. I did a quart of milk, and like I said, I don't want a really hard curdle. I want this to be a softer cheese. So I'm starting with a teaspoon. I'm just gonna sprinkle it around. I'm gonna grab my little cheese spoon. If you don't have one of these, that's okay, but it's already starting to separate. If you're doing that really hard cheese, you want it to turn yellow. I want yellow still because I do want it to separate, but I don't want it as clear. So I put that in. I'm gonna let this sit. I'll check on it in 10 minutes. If it hasn't separated enough, I'll do a little bit more. So one thing we found is we kind of are scooping it. The whey started to turn color. We could tell it was starting to firm up. So because of what we're going for, we kind of want to scoop it before it really has a chance to form a really hard curdle. I turned the heat back on and brought it to about 100 degrees, which is still not pasteurized. Added a little bit, like a little splash, probably another teaspoon of vinegar. So I think what we ended up using was like a tablespoon and a teaspoon of vinegar. So the rain has actually really come in, and I don't want to go get herbs from the garden right now. I didn't really plan ahead and get them. So I'm going to go ahead and salt this and then do some everything. Actually, I'm not going to salt it. I'm going to do some everything bagel seasoning because that already has salt and it has some fun things in it. It has some fun seasonings. It's a good blend that our family really likes. So that's easy to do right there. It looks like we've got a good consistency now. I put it in my KitchenAid. The last time I made this, I used my paddle. It doesn't act like a whipped cream, so you can't necessarily use your whisk. It would get real gross and be really hard to clean. The paddle makes that consistency that I want and kind of just beats it into what I want it to be. It beats it into submission. So I'm going to start on a low speed. I don't want to turn it up really high and stuff to go everywhere. I'm going to start at 2 and then I'll play around with it. And
What did not make the video is we did end up draining it, letting it drain out a little bit beforehand, but this turned out really good. So now time for the taste.
Yes.
To see how it turned out.
So it is a good spreadable consistency.
Yeah.
It would work for bagels, you know, if you want something that isn't like a feta, you know, but something you could spread on a sandwich or something like that. So I'm pleased with the consistency.
It is kind of a consistency of almost like a Chev.
Yeah.
And you can control it with how much how much whey, that you drain out of it as well.
Right.
So the biggest thing that we have found is your curds. You don't want to get a really hard curd and then try to whip that. With any cheese, you definitely want to salt it. That's where a lot of your flavor is going to come from. I'm salt sensitive. Like, I can really tell when salt's in something. Yeah. But I do feel like this is something that you're going to feel like you're making it really salty, and it's not going to be that salty. But play with that ratio. Yeah. There's definitely suggested ratios out there, but yeah, I would say just play with it because you can add it, especially with this whipped cheese where it's easy to mix more in. You can add it if you taste it and feel like it needs more. Yeah.
If you're trying to be a little more self-sufficient and it's one less thing you have to maybe pick up from the grocery store.
And you don't have to have cultures or anything else for it. Right, you just have to have an acid that you can add in there to turn it.
Right.
Which is what makes it so nice.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you want to do highs and lows?
Sure.
All right, let me grab my tea real quick. I'll start with my low.
Okay.
Because that's going to be the biggest. Yeah. My low is this right here. See that? That nastiness right there. In the midweek, you may have noticed there was a bandage on my arm, if you caught that midweek video. But yeah, had a little bit of skin cancer that was removed, and then they went in and just took out a lot more just to make sure they got all the margins and stuff. So wasn't anything too alarming. I mean, I went in pretty much knowing without being told that that spot was going to be cancerous. So a little bit of a wake-up call, but nothing that, again, that I was too alarmed with. I mean, I've been doing landscaping for over 12 years, so that's like outside pretty much every single day in the sun, even with protection like sunscreen and stuff. I was anticipating having to watch spots and stuff like that. Yeah. So it wasn't like a huge shocker to me, but yeah, nothing that I really, was looking forward to having done. Yeah. But that was definitely my low, because this thing is sore, just because dealing with stitches and stuff like that, it's just, right there. I mean, this is my left arm, but I still use it a lot. So I've been a little bit limited in mobility with that. So yeah, not fun. Stay protected, guys. Yeah. Stay protected. My high, I had two highs. Good. One was that I saw that we have olives. Yes. That was definitely a high. Yeah. I had not checked it, had not even noticed blooms really this year, so I really was not anticipating anything. But we've got a lot of little baby olives. It's going to be a very small harvest. Yeah. If they stay on there long enough to ripen and everything. Right. But
it'll be perfect for
it's more than what I thought. Yeah. Exactly. And it will give us a little bit of time to figure it out how we want to brine it. We are thinking we'll probably do salt brine rather than lye. Yeah. You can do either one of those. So we'll see. So my other high was my date with the girls. Yeah. We went to the movie, the matinee. Took them to see Little Mermaid in 3D. It was pretty cool. We don't go to the movies a lot. And so I think that might be the first 3D movie I saw, and it was way better than I anticipated. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And that was a lot of fun. Going with them, embarrassing them, because yes, I totally rocked out in my chair in the movie theater to some of those songs.
To the Little Mermaid.
So, I mean, I had to do something. I wasn't super into the story behind it. So I was going to enjoy it anyway. But yeah, that was my other high. That was a lot of fun to get to spend the afternoon with them doing that. Yeah. Because they love that movie. So.
Yeah. So my high, I have two as well. One is I did get to go on a date with Joe while he was with the girls, and we got to go to an ice cream place and just had some fun hanging out with him. He, it's just fun watching them get older, and we had some fun conversation, and he's just turning into a little man.
He is a little man.
Yeah, a little man. So that was fun. And also my other high is my grandma and my aunt have arrived from California.
Got here safely.
So we get to hang out with them and enjoy them, which is really nice. My low is probably that just all this rain. We haven't been able to really work in the garden this weekend or pick blackberries. We've got plenty of blackberries that are ready.
Yeah, they're really starting to ripen.
Yeah, and we can't get out there. I mean, we could, but
no. Winter came back.
Winter returned.
Like we mentioned at the beginning of the video. I mean, it's just
Yeah. So, and because it's cooler temperatures, the soil is cooler, it's kind of stopped progress in the garden. Tomatoes aren't growing in height. I was expecting them to be a little taller by now. Gotta get my tomatoes
They're
going.
putting some good growth off. They just probably have not grown in the last like 2 or 3 days.
No, but come on now. It's part of my growing season.
Want it now.
It's part of my growing season. Or 128 days.
It's okay.
Whatever.
Next week they are anticipating like 80s, which is going to be perfect after all this rain. We ought to see a lot of growth.
It's hard when you want to be out in your garden and you have to sit in the house because it's cold and wet
it's winter.
and rainy. Yes.
Yeah.
I've already been through winter.
Like we're in the weekend that kicks off summer.
Yes.
And winter has come back and said, not so fast.
Right. So that was a little, like, sad.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was. But speaking of a wonderful week coming up of temperatures and stuff, we hope you guys have a wonderful week. We thank you guys for joining us. Hope that you try out this amazing poor man's whipped cheese
Experiment.
It really is good. It is easy. You can do it. But again, like I said, hope you guys have a great week and be blessed.